Yes. Okay. So if you have little brothers and sisters and you have these flashcards around that are doing see it and say it, or you've done see it and say it before, I highly recommend adding them into your lessons. So I want to do a couple of things for you just to encourage you that you never grow out of learning Spanish like a baby. Like when you're learning a new language, your brain is always going to learn it like a baby because your brain is hardwired to learn in a certain way. So if you're struggling and you're like, gosh, I'm really having a hard time remembering this word, finding a photo and printing it out or just using a photo is going to help you because that's how you learned your first language. You did not sit in front of a phonics station or your mom didn't say, bottle, would you like the bottle? They just didn't do that. She showed you a bottle and said bottle. So here we have el tenedor. I know that we say it different, but we're going to practice el tenedor. This is a kind of a silly sentence, but I like me gusta. Sometimes you have to flip it over to figure out, okay, what am I trying to say there? Oh, that's the I like it card. Okay, me gusta el tenedor. And then you can say things like, oh, here's quieres, quieres, quieres el tenedor. Ooh, how about this one? Quieres la hamburguesa. So your brain is right now doing this kind of little exercise stretch thing that's kind of similar to like push-ups or leg lifts or pull-ups with exercising your muscles. Nobody has to get into a sport and do. I'm about to say that somebody's going to say, yes, Senora Ghost, there is a sport called pull-up sport. Anyhow, typically you're not in a sport that is doing this for the sport and you're like getting points and stuff. However, everybody that plays sports that uses those muscles wants to be able to do this. Same idea. If you're struggling, go back to the basics, look at the item and say the word. Don't look at the word, like the spelling of it. So here's ¿Quieres mi gato? Sí, quiero tu gato. So looking at the item and saying it, mi gato, la hamburguesa, el pan, las papas, la leche, la camisa. Could you do that just then when I was looking at the item? If you couldn't, then you may be accidentally using the translation part of your brain. And that's what happens a lot of times. After puberty, we use the translation part instead of the absorption part. So if you find yourself struggling and you can't pull up a word when you're trying to remember what it is and you're reading it in your head, go back to the idea of looking at photos. Here, dar, here's to give. Dar. ¿Quieres dar la camisa I don't know, a tu familia? So go back to using these things if you have them in their house. If you don't have them, I posted a link in the chat room for a free set, and you can just print off that free set as many as you like.